Welcome to episode 333 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and I'm joined by Ryan out of Seattle.
Hey everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we take it all the way back to 20XX in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
Is it 20XX for Mega Man?
It is for this one. I know last time it was like
It was
200X or 2000X or something. This one said 20XX.
Oh, okay.
That's the trope that I always remember. But it's good to be back.
Yeah. Ryan's wife making a cameo in the background.
Hey, so thanks for holding down the podcast while I was gone. Of course, I have moved, not quite set up here, but hopefully over the next coming weeks and months, you guys will see my space gradually evolve. It's kind of something that I've been, I don't know, a little bit excited about. Like, I always like seeing my, favorite YouTubers, like, backgrounds and what they have going on, and like when they move, it's always like, oh, everything's like different. That's cool. So hopefully I'll get something awesome going in here with what I've got, and maybe get some new cool stuff eventually.
You should do some before and after photos as well.
Oh yeah,
do some after, like our Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. But
that.
A big thanks to Will of the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast for coming on a couple episodes ago, and then Darren Hupke of Pixels and Polygons, also 32-Bit Library. He came on last week, so go ahead and check out those two episodes if you'd like. But, of course, before we get into our episode 333, you can find us on thegamedeflators.com. You can also find us on social media at Game Deflators on X, at The Game Deflators on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. And I know, Ryan, I have messed up the layout. It's okay. We'll do it next week correctly. You can also find us on YouTube. Ring the little bell so you know when we're on. And podcast apps, we're on a lot of them. So go ahead and check us out. Leave a 5-star review, maybe 2. I think it's about
also, if you didn't hear, we are like number 3 for game collecting podcasts, according to some website.
Apparently, yeah. I got an email. It's like, hey, you're number 3 on video game collecting podcasts. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And we're ranked in like the top 20 for like a whole other bunch of lists too. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So cool. If you're new, if you somehow found us through that, definitely tell us, yeah, that's what I did. And leave us
exactly
5 stars.
Exactly that. Just, yeah, that's what I did, and 5 stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyways, this week, I'll tell you what we're going to be talking about. Sony goes solar, and then your new games are too big for your deck to satisfy. And we close it all out this week with our look at Mega Man.
Sounds good, man. But of course, we'll go ahead and start for our recent pickups. So, no gaming pickups to reveal because it's in the mailbox and I'm sick and did not want to walk outside. That said, I picked up this magic card for my blue-green commander deck. I picked up this magic card for my blue-green commander deck. Let's see, there's another one here as well. This is pretty cool artwork on this one. I like that one. The hydroelectric specimen. And then the one that I have been saving up for this entire time finally came in the mail. Transmute Artifact. So that, sir, is a reserve list card that is in this deck, and I'm very excited to now have it in the collection. That was considered a heavy play. It does not look heavy play. It looks more like a moderate play to light play, so I'm okay with that. Those were my pickups. Gaming-wise, this is going to be really brief for me, dude. I was, and probably brief for you as well, since it's been a week moving. I was in Vegas most of the week for work, and ended up getting sick while in Vegas. So what was going to be a plan of, hey, I'm going to get home, spend time with the family, relax, maybe play some Fantasia Neo Dimension, ended up being, screw it, I'm going to lay back and watch King of the Hill for several hours.
Yeah, and then that's a good way to spend your time.
Yeah. And also last night as well, it's like, man, I do not want to do anything. Like, I don't want to focus. I just want to watch some TV. So I am...
Zone out.
Yeah, so... I guess the King of the Hill update for you. I just finished the last 2 episodes I finished are when Bobby gets in smoking.
Oh yeah,
that was a good episode. And then also when Arlen is doing the like the best lawn, and Khan and Hank are kind of going back and forth with their lawns and whose is better. And he gets like this high end lawn. He tells, he tells Dale like, no, I don't want you fumigating in my lawn and whatnot. And he plants the fire ants, and then Bobby's like susceptible to like the queen fire ant. It's just insane. So I had a good time watching that one. That was pretty good. So
I love King of the Hill stuff. I've seen
yeah.
some cool. There was this dope, like Bobby, like dressed like a cowboy at the rodeo hoodie at a box lunch a few months ago that I saw. Then I saw somebody made this like custom bag online that's like Dale's head with a knife in the mouth.
Nice. Well, and then I think we've seen like the Bulbasaur and like Squirtle and
yeah,
Charmander.
I had the Bulbasaur sticker on my old laptop.
Yeah, those are some good ones. Yeah, like, and it's cool because like going back and watching them in order, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of episodes that like I don't remember. So one was Hank and Bobby getting into like shooting guns.
Yeah.
And Bobby turns out to be like fantastic at shooting guns while he sucks at everything else in life. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, don't remember that episode at all, but it was actually pretty good. So yeah, it's good stuff. I think there's like 14 seasons of King of the Hill. And they're rebooting it on Hulu, I think.
Yeah, they're going to do like a revival season or try to bring it back. I don't know how successful it'll be. We'll see. The ending of King of the Hill is really good. I like that last episode.
Yeah. And I guess to add to recent pickups via email, looks like I picked up our Game On Expo passes. I know you won't be joining this year, but I'll probably have my wife go out with me to support the podcast, and maybe Joel will go out as well, since Joel has been on there and my wife puts up with the podcast. So kind of works out. But we'll be checking out Game On Expo here at the beginning of April. And yeah, so if you're in the Phoenix area, go ahead and get your tickets now. Tony Hawk is going to be there along with a whole bunch of other great guests.
Awesome.
And of course, there'll be small developers and board games and tons of stuff to purchase while you're present, along with all the video games that we're going to see there, like in all years. So exciting stuff coming up soon here in Phoenix. And I'll pass it to you, sir, on your pickups.
I'll have to check out and see what kind of cons and stuff are up here. Like, I think I've mentioned before, like, I know everybody up here talks about like the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and Portland's only like a couple hour train ride away. That's pretty chill. So I might check that out if I can. But
you can
go
see
to what else is going on.
You can go to stuff up in Canada too.
That's very true. That's very true.
Go international to Game Deflators.
International Deflator. Well, I've done that once before. I brought the Game Deflators to Japan.
You did. That's right. In front of a Gundam.
Right. All right. So this week I was moving, so I didn't really get to pick up a whole lot. I did get a game while waiting, which is a great little like indie game on Steam that you're just like, you play through this guy's whole life in just all the waiting scenarios. Like, you start off being like a spirit waiting in line to like be born on Earth, and like you just have like all these moments where you're just like, the screen's waiting, you're in some kind of line or just trying to kill time for a bus or something, and then you just have to like try to move around and accomplish like little goals. Like, there's this one where you're like in line for a ride at a carnival, and your parents are like holding each of your arms, and all you can do is just like dangle your legs and like wiggle back and forth, and there's a can, and you're trying to like kick the can into like different things to trigger stuff. And then I think every level also has a like do nothing. So there's like literally like, if you want to just watch the whole thing as waiting, it makes you just sit there and just like not trigger anything else to get those. So it's kind of cute. It's kind of fun. I didn't make it all the way through. I only played it like a couple nights in the hotel, and I haven't really done a lot of game stuff here yet. I did go out to Draft last night, though. There's actually a shop pretty close by. I think it's like less than 10 minutes from the house, called Midgard Comics, Games, and More. So I went there, and it seemed like a pretty cool group of like regular people there. Someplace that I could kind of implant myself in and make some.
Contrary to what people might think, Magic players are regular people. Just continue. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not really. I forget who it is. There's some YouTuber or somebody I used to see ads for their channel all the time, and it was like, it's not Magic without the Gathering. So it's like, it's fun to be able to go and just like hang out with some new people. They were doing the last night of Aether Drift Draft, and everybody seemed very stoked to have it be the last night of that. And then next week they're going to do something fun. They're doing a hat draft, which is like they're going to do chaos draft of all the sets where hats are important. So I'm assuming it's going to be like probably the cowboy set and the private eye set, and I don't know what else, but whatever one had prominent hats as a part of it. And then they want everybody to bring actual hats, and we'll draft actual hats as well.
What? Okay, that sounds interesting.
The format was totally like, it doesn't seem that different, but it changed dramatically kind of the way you have to think about draft. So there was 10 of us, and we all sat at one table. So you really only got to see like a couple of packs twice, and like all the cards gone. So like you really had to strategically think like, okay, this is the one card I'm going to get out of this pack most likely, and just move on. So it totally made it feel like a little bit different, just not being able to kind of see the same things and not really getting any sense of what anybody else is going for.
That's odd that they would do it like that, because when you have 10 people, normally you want to do 2 pods of 5.
I mean, that's what you would think, but I guess it just makes it a little different. So it was kind of fun.
Interesting. Never done it with 10 people. I think the max I've ever done it with was 8, because you get at least like 2 turns, almost 2 turns. So interesting.
So that was cool. And yeah, I'll be going back and checking that out and seeing how it goes doing Magic out here. But I'm excited to have a place that seems pretty chill and close by.
Yeah, that's always important for sure. Good stuff.
Well,
and then your recruitment of D&D will start at that point too.
Yeah, right. I know they do Adventurers League, and I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna go that far. Like, I'm still playing in a campaign with you guys and stuff. I don't think I need multiple nights of D&D back in my life at this point.
Yeah, probably not.
Too much to go out and see and do here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do more of that later.
D&D. All right. Well, let's jump into my first article here. So Sony patents hints at PlayStation controllers of a unique feature. This comes from Game Rant. And basically, the patents that they have found, one of them is a rewind feature, which would allow you, of course, to rewind a game on your control. The idea would be to go back to the location at which you want at a later point in the game. Seems kind of like save states, in a sense, on the controls.
Seems kind of like Prince of Persia.
Yeah, could be
just
that too.
In every game. Like, there are, what is it? Didn't we play like a Mario game or something that had that? Like one of the like Wii U versions of a DS game or something?
Probably. I don't remember.
I don't know. I feel like I've played some like modernized versions of old games. I think, it's NSO. I think NSO has this like built-in functionality. Well, not just save states. Like, you can just rewind. You can just like and revert back, and it's, I don't know. I like it when it's a mechanic in a game. I don't necessarily know if I like that being in all games, because it's just,
I kind of do.
It's too much power.
Well, it's kind of convenient when you're playing like Dark Souls or something, for example. And
so that you just don't have to actually realize any of the effects of the game. You could just bypass actually playing the game.
No, it's more so like I would still play it. It's more so
but like if you don't ever die and lose your souls and have to run back to your body, like, you're not even really playing the same game anymore. Like, you've bypassed the entire thing.
I wouldn't do it for that. But what I would do it for is like after boss battles, like, oh, I died. Let me go ahead and rewind so I don't have to watch a damn cutscene again. That's how I would look at it. Because like,
but that's exactly the thing. Like, when you die, you got to get all the way back to the boss.
No, not necessarily. Sometimes you just kind of start back at the fog.
Yeah, but your souls are inside. Like, if you rewind before you lost, like, you're at no ability to lose your souls. Like, you might as well just like
the thing with Dark
not
Souls.
even have it be a souls game.
If you have a crap ton of souls, you're gonna run straight to your souls whenever you die. Like you do. Like you never it's very rare playing a Souls game that I lose, let's just say 100,000 souls when I lose a boss fight and have to regain them. Very rare because
No, but like
oftentimes,
the thing is, your souls are trapped in there with the boss.
yeah. So what I'm saying is like I'm gonna go back into that battle and I'm gonna steam on ahead, get my souls, and run closer to where I spawn normally to start that battle out. That's just what I've always traditionally done. Like it's very, very rare that I go into a Souls type game and lose all my souls in a boss battle. Very rare. So that's what I'm saying. Like a rewind function in that instance would be cool because, like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna get my souls anyways when I go into the battle in the next game. So rewind it so I don't watch cutscene and do all that bullshit again. Like that to me is kind of appealing. But yeah, I mean it's kind of nice. And
See, that's the thing. That's the part that I don't like is that it's too nice.
yeah,
Like
it is. Well, maybe some games will
most
say
games
no.
like don't care whether you finish them or not. Like,
Well,
and
maybe there's like
I'm not saying that like I don't want to take this to the like does Dark Souls need an easy mode or anything either because it's not the same thing.
no. This is like straight up rewind. Well, that's one feature. The other one is a patent that would allow controllers to charge with solar power. That is actually very interesting. And, obviously, solar power, you're not going to get like a ton of charge often unless you have like sitting in the sun. But any sort of residual sunlight coming into your home, and if it has the capability of charging even like a little bit, I think would be pretty cool. Um, but with that said, I mean, you don't want to like have your controller sitting out in the sun because sun damage and things of that nature, right? So any sort of like residual lighting would be awesome to charge as a supplemental feature to like kind of speed up the charging process in your device. I think that's a pretty cool feature. It's something that I would want to see in a control. I think it would be good from like a green perspective to have that anyways. But also just in terms of, oh, I haven't played in a week and a half and my controller's just been sitting there because I forgot to charge it. You go to play it and now you don't have a charge, right? But if it's been residually charging over that period of time, then you don't really have to worry about that, right? If you forgot your controller and didn't charge it for a period. So,
I mean,
yeah, I think it's cool.
I don't know how good that really is. Like, I know when I was a kid and I'd look at the calculator inside a classroom with no windows and I'd cover the light sensor thing and it would turn off. And then I'd uncover it and it would turn on and I'd be like, is it taking power from the fluorescent light? But I think it was just like an on-off thing.
Yeah,
But
I think
like
so.
if you're like an inside person or you keep your controllers like not on your windowsill, like I don't think that they're really gonna get like enough to do anything.
Well, that's why I
And the
said
other
residual.
yeah, the other thing about it is just like it's fun to mess with controllers. Like I know I've seen things about like, oh well, they've been, talking about like what if they could make them hot or cold, so that you really feel like you're in a hot place or a cold place. And it's like, I mean, I guess you could do that, but it's like also I don't want to have to pay $175 for a controller, even though people already pay just like $300 for like a controller with adjustable springs and stuff inside. I guess because they can tell the difference because they're professionals. I don't know. I would never be, I don't think, capable of having a $300 controller feel like I'm getting $300 worth of use out of it. And for like the long term, I mean, how hard is it to find a good N64 controller? Like, you think you're going to find like a PS6 controller with hot and cold temperature regulations and solar panels that works in 8 years?
Hey, we're just getting closer to 4D experiences. That's all.
But I mean, it's just like, it's going to be too much money. It's going to be too breakable and just not sustainable. And it's going to be another barrier to entry. And also, it's going to be another one of those things where as many companies have tried to do this, like I want to say like 80 to 90% of all third-party studios ignore all of those functionalities that they can. Like, maybe in some games you can type with like the touchpad on the PS4 controller.
Be a cool feature if possible. Using kinetic energy to recharge your battery with the joysticks and such. Like if there's something within the controller itself that as you're playing a game and continually using, that energy, it slowly charges your controller as well.
Oh, they
Similar
should
to
just
like
put like a shake weight like generator in the controller.
you might. I think I didn't see it. You want to put it close to your mouth?
I guess you would have both hands on the controller while you're shaking it.
At one time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was gonna comment. I mean, you've already gone there. I was gonna say the closer we get to 4D experiences, soon we're gonna have like water spraying out of the control and things like that for the R. Kelly experience. So it'll be
Give you
great.
some cab
Yeah.
money.
Oh Jesus. All right, let's move on. Let's go on to your article.
All right. So the Steam Deck is on the struggle bus, folks. It's been a great handheld for, a number of years now, but those new AAA games, man, they don't build them like they used to. That's kind of the point. Things keep getting better, and the Steam Deck is getting older. So, people's favorite way to play all of their, Steam library and the new games, it seems like we're kind of at the edge of that precipice now. The games, let's see here. We're talking about Eurogamer. This is by Oliver Mackenzie. I think he's a part of Digital Foundry. The name sounds familiar. Let's see here. They checked out a number of games: Lego Horizon, Black Myth Wukong, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Final Fantasy 16, Horizon Forbidden West, Space Marine 2, Dragon's Dogma, a whole bunch, of different things. Some perform better than others. It seems like, Lego Horizon, that's a pretty easy one. Those Lego games, you don't have all these like super high resolutions that you really want to hit to really maintain, the style that those games are going for. But it's something like, the real Horizon Forbidden West. They're saying that is technically a cross-gen, but the PC version is more so based on like the next generation, like PS5 code, and that is giving it some issues. So even more recent experiences like Monster Hunter Wilds coming out on Steam, I mean, it's poorly optimized for PC anyways, so no chance you're going to be playing that on the Steam Deck. So I think between game companies not properly optimizing and then also, the next generation really hitting and those titles starting to come over to PC, you're really kind of starting to see those limits of the Steam Deck, and people are going to want a Steam Deck too. And there's also so much competition in that space now, like the ROG Ally, a number of other handhelds, and Microsoft coming into this space. We've talked about this is likely the arena that they're going to want to be competing with, their handheld. And anything newer than the Steam Deck hopefully should be able to handle these generation titles. But at the same time, we're 5 years into this generation. Next generation is starting. Like any games that are like probably being pitched right now, that's going to be a PS6 game. That's going to be coming out on the next major console. And is the Steam Deck 2 or, whatever Microsoft is going to put out, are they going to be able to only play this current now generation, or are they going to be able to take advantage and play some of that next generation as well? And it's kind of like everything feels like it's in this offset arms race now, like where it used to just kind of be like, here's the generation, and then PC's over here doing its thing. But then Nintendo kind of got skewed off a little bit, and then, things have kind of adjusted and shifted, and now it's just kind of chaos. So it's hard to... I think we're really going to soon be kind of in a world where it's like, all right, what is the best version of this game, and where am I going to play it? Whereas in the past, I feel like it was really like we make the game and you can play it anywhere you want, and it's basically about the same. So
Yeah, when I read this, to me it was kind of like, no shit. Right? Like, the Steam Deck is getting older, and games are getting more complex, and what is in them, and of course it's going to take more processing power and such. And to me, it felt like the obvious. But one thing that was of interest or interesting to me is, as I was reading through the comments, I saw one that said, hey, when I consider the games I'm going to play on my Steam Deck, if it can run on Switch, then I know that my Steam Deck will handle it. If it can run on PS4, I know that I'm probably okay. If it runs on PS5, it's a roll of the dice. And that's just PS5. So like you said, when PS6 rolls around, or whatever that next gen is, it's going to be pretty much obsolete. So I think we're going to look at a Steam 2 or Steam Deck 2 here pretty soon, if they even go down that route. With all the competition, like you said, it might not be worthwhile for them to even release a new one. I mean, Steam Deck was kind of, in a sense, like the first one to really be in market with, like, at that high of a level, with
And
that
it's
notoriety.
still one of the most reasonably priced.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
A next gen one's going to be that much more expensive, and like it's been really crucial for like Nintendo, and there's been a lot of talk about like the Switch 2 pricing being very critical, because like $400 isn't cheap, but compared to $500, giving it to somebody under the age of 10 and expecting it to survive that interaction for
That's
a long period of time,
$100 more.
Yeah. And so, like, I guess with the Switch 2 coming out as well, I mean, people are going to look at the Switch 2 and be like, all right, we could port everything from the PS4 generation over to that, basically. So things that you've already been able to play and play well on your Steam Deck are going to have another kind of mass appeal place where, hey, now we can market and sell these games all over again to Nintendo people. And then if there is going to be a Steam Deck 2, that's going to be more powerful. And then you're going to kind of be in this, I feel like right now they're niche enough, the handhelds, but I feel like it will kind of get to this point where people who aren't really in the know are going to see Switch 2. It's going to look so much kind of like all the other things out there, and they're going to see that the Switch 2 plays like PS4 stuff, and they might just kind of assume that's what those devices are capable of, and they might not even realize, oh, well, I could buy one for like $1,000 that'll play PS5 games, but, maybe not PS6 games. And now it's like, all right, you're representing like 3 different generations in those handhelds, and all that's come about in like 10 years time.
Yeah, it's pretty insane when you think about the timeline on that. So, but yeah, I agree with your point on that, and definitely looking towards the future here to see, really what Valve does, whether it's a Steam Deck 2 or kind of continue to course. Maybe it's a minor upgrade. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they did say originally that they didn't want to do it like phones, where there's like a new one every year, and do it kind of more generationally. But I mean, timeline wise, we'd probably be looking at them to, make some kind of announcement in the next year or two if they are going to pursue that.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
All
Cool.
Right. Well, moving on to our inflation deflation this week, we are looking at Mega Man 1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Developed by Capcom, published by Capcom. Designers were Akira Kitamura and Keiji Inafune. This released back in December of 1987. It's an action platform. One of the original, one of the best. Reception, it actually has like an 8 to 10 out of 10. Like, a lot of people say this is like a near perfect game. And I mean, back in the day when all games were super hard and a lot of games were very much, experimental and still trying to like establish themselves, here comes Mega Man, jumping, shooting,
well, that's it, jumping and shooting.
Jumping and shooting. Very good level design. If you've never seen, I always point people this way. If you don't have much experience with Mega Man, go watch Ego Raptor's Sequelitis with Mega Man. It does such a good job of like telling you like Mega Man and Mega Man X and why those games are so I don't know, the layout of them is so good. Like in the Rock Band stage is, or not Rock Band, Guts
Uh,
Man.
I was gonna say it's
Guts Man
technically
is,
Mega Man.
yeah, Rock Man's the main guy, but
Yeah.
the guy who looks like a rock, Guts Man, in his level, there's these like little platforms, and like the first one you jump on is fine, and then it'll show you like the next one on the row below, and it hits like an empty spot on the track and dips down, like before you could ever even jump onto it. So it was like one of those first games that did like a really cohesive job of like showing the player and trying to be fair and not just like Nintendo hard throwing stuff in your face that like you basically just need to like know it's going to happen before it happens to have any chance at it.
Yeah. Well, so with this game in particular, because we played Mega Man 4. Well, hold on. Before I even start that, we didn't even go into our synopsis. We got to dive
Oh,
in on
okay.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
So I can do this one really quick. So Dr. Wily uses robot masters originally created by Dr. Light to help the world towards his own evil ends. It is up to you as Mega Man to defeat Dr. Wily and stop the robot masters. Um, so with this game, we played Mega Man 4 not last episode, but episode 330.
last episode I was on.
Yeah, episode 330. So we played Mega Man on that, and or Mega Man 4. And I thought Mega Man 4 is actually harder than Mega Man 1. And Mega Man 1 is supposed to be a harder one, right? So kind of interesting in that respect. And I wonder if some of it's because there's just so much more in Mega Man 4. Like you can hold your blaster, you can slide, there's a number of things you can do, but this one you just kind of like have to dodge enemy shots and fire, right? So I did find this one to be easier. I did get through in the time I had. I got through Cutter, I think is the first boss. Got through that. Did
Cutman.
save Cutman, yeah. So I did save state a couple times just to get through it. But overall, it was a far easier experience than Mega Man 4 for me. So I don't know if you had a similar mindset.
No, all Mega Man games are hard for me. I really just struggle with them. I don't know what it is. I'm not great at like platforming, so jumping and shooting is just not my usual cup of tea, and I struggle with these games a lot.
Yeah, so for me with this game, visually, I thought it was very good. It still
Yeah,
holds up, of course. I had it on the Retron 5, so it kind of upscales it, which is nice. But visually, it looks good. Mega Man, the controls were great. I mean, I thought they were pretty straightforward, right? Nothing crazy on that. Um, I did notice some lagging in my copy, like when the screen just kind of overloaded with enemies, it would lag a little bit.
mm-hmm.
But a lot of games like that in that era did that.
Nintendo slow
So
down.
yeah, so there was that. Difficulty wise, it wasn't terrible for me. I'm sure other levels probably do get harder. Um, but overall, I felt that the life recharge, like the life bar recharges, were fairly plentiful in my playthrough. There were these little red balls. I don't know what the hell they're for, but I picked them up off enemies. I don't know what it was supposed to do, but it did something.
They
Uh,
probably recharge like your other weapons or something.
I don't know. I only had one weapon. Um,
Well, like once you killed Cutman, if you had switched to his weapon, usually you get those like pellets that refill.
That's true. That's true. So that's probably what it was then. Yeah, because technically you don't have to start on that level. I think you can start on others. So there was that, and then the music, of course, was pretty good. So I think the enemy movements, where you're spawning, where the enemies spawn, like it felt more forgiving than the last Mega Man game we played. So I overall had a very good experience, and I would say in what I played, it would be an 8 to 10 out of 10.
Yeah, Mega Man's classic. Great design, great like iconic character. Somebody that really hasn't, I don't know, lived up to that legacy as much. I think that like there's so much Mega Man out there, but it's not really in the same realm as like Mario and Sonic, where like Mario's just like he's always been on top. Like maybe there were like a couple boring-ish games on like the DS that felt kind of samey and whatever, but like for the most part, Mario's always kicking ass. And then Sonic, he's been on the struggle bus up and down, but always in the news. And then I feel like Mega Man, it's like Mega Man 11 came out a number of years ago, and there was that like Mighty Number 9 thing that happened, but people are like, I don't know, could we get some more? I mean, they did a bunch of those collections actually. So they did the Mega Man collections and also the what were the RPG ones for the Game Boy?
Wasn't it like
Battle
NT?
Network.
Yeah, Battle Network. I
Yeah,
don't know
the
why I was
Battle
thinking NT
Networks,
Hero.
those were popular. Um, everybody always I hear people talk about the N64 one. What was it?
Mega Man Legends.
Mega Man Legends. Yeah,
Hmm.
those games were sick. I think they were on PS1 also.
Yeah.
But like that would be cool to get kind of like more of a resurgence of like modernized Mega Man. I feel like they could have really taken it off and done a lot more, but like Capcom's been rolling lately. I mean, they're doing so well with like Resident Evil and all that, so they've got money. Like it's only a matter of time until I think we get like some good prominent new Mega Man stuff.
Yeah, time will tell. I mean, like you said, we've had all these legacy collections that have come out. So when we get into the brass tacks here, I think, it makes sense to kind of look towards those big collections that have come out for all the Mega Man games, really.
Yeah, so if you are looking to purchase Mega Man, good news. Complete in-box copy will only run you $636.42. That's down from its peak at $847.14 back in May of 2022. And it's kind of steady trending at that price. Loose copy will run you $94.09, much more reasonable. That peaked at $105.48 back in April of 2022, and that's holding pretty steady. Those are some expensive games, man. They really are up there. Good news, I guess. The digital console you can get, NSO has Mega Man 1 included in the collection, and on PC you can get the Legacy Collection for $6, and that's on sale from Steam from $14.99. You can also get that Legacy Collection on some other consoles and stuff too. I'm sure it's on Nintendo, but
Yeah.
there's definitely ways to get access to this game. The internet being one of them, but it's a classic. It's one that everybody should try to play and fail miserably, and then realize that games are better or more accessible now, and go play some of those after appreciating how nail-bitingly hard Mega Man could be.
Yeah, a little humble pie, and then move on to other games. But I think at 94.09, I think it's highly inflated at that
Yeah.
price point, especially when there's other Mega Man games on the NES in like the $20 and $30 range. This is definitely like, and what's funny is this game used to be like the cheapest, if I recall, out of the NES games. So kind of odd that's all the way up there. I think the best way to go is, if you don't have Nintendo Switch Online, go with a Legacy Collection, whether a physical copy or a digital copy. Play the game that way. I don't think a physical copy of this game is worth it at all.
No.
It's a great game, but it's not worth $94. Great. I mean, there's a ton of titles you can get out there. Like, you can get a whole bunch of games on sale right now for $20 a piece and get 4 or 5 video games for the same price right now.
Mm-hmm.
All of them still being great games as well in their own regards. So, yeah, I would avoid this price point for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is probably the cheapest it's ever going to be again, likely, as collecting continues to ramp up in the world. So, I mean, if you are like a diehard Mega Man person and you don't have the first one for whatever reason, I guess you could get in before it gets worse.
Yeah, and I realized I didn't have a physical copy of this one, which kind of sucks. So,
And you never will.
or I don't know, maybe I find it cheap. We'll see. So, all right. So I think we didn't select the fourth game, but we had Cybernoid, and then we had Battletoads on NES. We have to figure out a fourth game. We'll figure it out later. I think next week we play Battletoads.
Sounds good.
Let's do that one. So, all right, cool. Well, this has been episode 333 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John,
I'm Ryan.
and thanks for watching and listening.